Hey guys, what's up? Thank you so much for tuning in. This is part 2 of drawing a still life, so if you haven't done part 1, be sure to go and do that. Otherwise, this video may be a little confusing. So after doing part 1 of drawing all your shapes, we are now going to be working on the shading. I just wanted to point out that I really love my set of Create a Color graphite pencils, and I'll put a link in the description down below where you can get those. We will start by drawing the dark side of the cube. I apologize that this photo doesn't exactly depict the angle of where my eyes were looking, but it does give you a sense of what I was seeing. When I'm looking to do shading for my drawing, I just like to look for the shape of the shade. I don't always work it that way 100% of the time, but what I mean is that sometimes I will draw a light line with my zebra pencil to have an idea of the shape of the shadows and the marks on any given object. I draw on some of the wood grain lines here. Now I'll fill in some of the details in the wood box itself. I'll go back here and use my blending step to blend the shading from the graphite. If you have filled in your shadow too dark, you can always use eraser putty. It usually comes in a pencil set, or you can buy it separately. It is really important to have, as you don't want to use your eraser too much. Now I'll fill in some of the details of the wood box itself. Keep in mind that usually for a cube, the side with the light on it, the left side for us, would have a light shadow to define the top edge. In this case, we won't do that because the wood box has lines that define it more strongly. You might not be able to tell from this photo, but the top of the box has many little divots and marks, and I really like to use my zebra pencil for this. Now we'll move on to this rattle, which has 2 spheres. Draw on the cast shadow and then shade it in. One thing I'll say is that this rattle has a reflective surface, which in video 1 I said I don't recommend for beginners. And in this case, for the sake of time, I'm going to keep it simple and not do every little detail of the reflection. Just begin by drawing in one of the shapes of the shadow and shade it in, and continue working the different shapes that you see. I think it's best to start with the lighter tones, but here I started on a darker one. I also really like using my blending step to work on these shadows, but you can see how, just as in art exercise 1 of my series, that one side of the sphere becomes darker as it moves away from the light. Now for the cylinder. This is a jar with a complicated lid, so you could just keep it as a simple shape if you like, and just focus on the tones. Or take your time and go in for all the detail. Again, I like to use my zebra pencil for this one. Keep in mind that just as in exercise 3 where we learned how to draw a cylinder that's similar to a sphere, the shadow on the cylinder becomes darker as it moves away from the light. Both the sphere and the cylinder may have a reflective light on the outer edge. There is the shadow, of course. The core shadow is a little lighter, and the halftone is even lighter still. I'm going to go ahead and start filling in some of the cast shadow here. I will go ahead and start on the cone now. I'm just going to work some of these details that I missed in the first video. I will outline and fill in these shadows with my blending stub and pencil. I'm going to keep my perfectionism on a low here. This object is a bad choice for a beginner, but I should say no matter if you're a beginner, it's a good challenge for yourself. I only say that because it might not be good if you are easily frustrated. And there you have it, it's your still life. I hope you all found this video helpful. If so, please give it a big thumbs up as it really does help me out. And keep working on your shapes and shadows. Just keep in mind as you continue doing still lifes that shadows are merely shapes of varying tones. It's not as complicated as it seems. It's good art practice, so just keep trying. And don't forget to let me know how your art practice is going in the comments down below. Also, for more art exercises, art life, and whatever else is going on in my life, consider subscribing. Thanks so much again for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.